Hello, EriXpress viewers. Welcome. Thanks for joining us today as we continue to celebrate the March 8th Women's Day celebration, or should we say a month celebration. I'm here with the exceptional, successful women of Eritrea and from here with us. And we'll be introducing her. Her name is Dr. Lula. Dr. Lula, welcome and thank you for joining us, taking time off from your busy schedule. We're happy to have you. Dr. Lula, could you tell us a little bit about yourself so that the viewers could get to know who you are?
Thank you, Daniel. I really appreciate it for inviting me to speak about, especially today or the whole month for the Women's Month, which is celebrated all over the world, even though Eritreans celebrated a lot longer than the world did. And my name is, like you said, Dr. Lula Tsegay, and I live in Bay Area in California, around San Francisco. And then I was born and raised in Asmara, Eritrea, and Paradiso. And I came when I was almost 19, approaching 20, as everybody else migrated to Rome. And then from Rome, I came to San Francisco. And then it's been years. I came to Bay Area, December 1982, and I hardly spoke in English. And I learned English as a second language. Then I went to San Francisco City College, then to San Francisco State. Then I ended up at UCSF, and then I got my doctorate degree in dentistry from University of California, San Francisco.
And could you tell us a little bit about your family?
I'm a late boomer, and I got married in 2005 to my husband, Asafa Haile. And I have one son. His name is Asser, and he's 14 years old. And it's a very small family, and it's with a busy schedule. And then the good thing is that I practice in not far from my house. And so it's just my life is surrounded in San Leandro. It makes it more convenient and easy. I am from a very big, large family, which is we're 12 kids. I'm right in the middle, so I'm a middle child. You pick up a lot of responsibilities. And my dad passed away a year before the independence of Eritrea, which he prayed and worked hard to see his own children, because we had two guerrilla fighters, but they made it home. They're at home. And then, but the rest of us are scattered all over the world like everybody else. But we're very good. We connect really well. And we have a mother back home still. So we tend to go every year to Eritrea to see her. If I go this year, the other ones will go the other year. If not, the other ones, there are also, I have the oldest sister goes twice, if not once every year to visit her. She lives in Sweden. So that's how we are in our family. And then, hey, it's just, it is, yeah.
Beautiful. It's amazing how when you dig up the stories in a lot of Eritrean families, there's always the freedom fighters and also the women's. So we each have an amazing stories. I believe you could pretty much write a book for each family.
Yes.
Yours is one of them, as I can see. We have you here too.
Yeah.
And so in the career that you are right now as a dentistry, how did you start, and what made you choose to become a dentist, and as well as how did it all start? Could you tell us a little bit?
Well, I was raised in the medical field family. My dad and my mom were a hospital, what they call them, dressers. And so medicine in that family was kind of, in. And my mom would go up to neighborhood to have babies delivered. My dad gives injections, and everybody's suturing this and that. So the house, and then my oldest sister, she lives in Sweden now, was the first one to go to Gondar to become a health officer, which now we may say the PA or what have you, but there is considered as a doctor. So she was the first, in a way, female. Her name is Lula Tsegay, that came, and then she used to work at Nailang department, in Eritrea, as a in a TV department, what have you. So medicine was not something new in a way, but what it really, really got me in was during the wartime, there was somebody that got shot in the jaw, was my friend. And we were young, maybe 13 or 14. And then, he went to the hospital, but he didn't get better. So he was in my mom's department, I remember. And then I would go and, to see her, but nobody was kind of catering to him. That's how I felt. But what was the problem later on, as mom explained it, anyway, he died. He didn't get better, was that his infection got worse and worse because of the jaw. And then she said, all the Italians left, so nobody could fix his jaw. I said, why cannot the other doctors fix it? She said, we haven't been trained on that. So that registered in my head. And then I said, you know what? When I grow up, I'm going to be a dentist. So she gave me the look and she said, let's just survive the war. And then she just walked away. Because there are no dentists, nobody knows about dentistry. So I left. I never saw a dentist in my life. I came to Rome, and then I had a toothache. And so my aunt called, and my aunt's boss called the dentist because it was late at night. And then he said that I had a small cavity. And then I had to go and fill it up. So when I went, and then he said, okay, so who did your braces? Who did this? I'm looking at the guy, no clue. He thought I'd seen a dentist before. And I just said, just fix that damn tooth and let me go. And then he did. But I didn't stay long. I came to California. And then I kept telling everybody, I want to be a dentist. And then everybody was laughing because I didn't know what it takes to become a dentist. And I don't even speak English. So, but there was a guy who passed away. His name was Tasfai. He's a health officer from, Gondar. And then he translates and does all our medical assesses, all that in General Hospital, San Francisco. And then I said, Tasfai, I want to be a dentist. And then he laughed and he said, who's going to stop you? I said, I don't know what it takes. He said, it takes guts to become a dentist. And then you have it. And I said, okay. That's why I said I can do it. And now I can do it. Did not know I have to learn English. I mean, at a higher skill. I have to, go to a lot of schooling. And there's no money. Where's that money going to come? But like he said, I said, no. I went to, of course, I studied English. I went to City College. I had a good friend that was determined to go to school. His name is Mengus. Mengus will go anywhere, and I will go with Mengus. I see the rest of it wasn't into that. And then Mengus studied English, and then he already went to City College and passed the test. And I said, where were you today? We all live in one apartment. It's a studio. And they say, oh, you know what? I went to this school and I took a test and they say I passed, but not English, but math, all that. I said, can you take me there? He said, okay, we go tomorrow. Not knowing you have to make an appointment. Okay, you see, when he went, people were taking exam that day. That's why he got lucky. And then we insisted. And they said, your name is not here. And he said, I registered her yesterday. He did it. So the lady just gave up and she said, okay, you go get it. And then I, of course, like him, my English is low, but the rest of it was high. So we got into City College, both of us. So I follow Mengus. Mengus likes engineering. I go sit with Mengus engineering. And finally I say, you know what, Mengus? I want to be a dentist. I don't want to be an engineer. No, we can finish fast. I say, forget it. By then, I start to read, I start to understand. It's going to take me longer and harder. And then I may not make it to the university that I wanted. I may go out of state, all that. And it was fun. I went and then I talked to a counselor. And then she just looked at me, she said, you can be a social worker. I said, did you hear what I say? I want to be a dentist. Did I tell you I want to be a social worker? She said, no, with your English, you cannot be a dentist. I said, okay, I'm your counselor. I'm going to tell you what classes to take so you can be a social worker, human resources. So she just touched my nerve. I said, you're my counselor. I said, okay. I never saw her. I never went back. I will go to classes and add myself to classes. Okay, what does it take to be? And I went to UCSF. I picked up the UCSF. They have a guide, what courses you need to take to come in to the dental school. So I put that book and I went by that book. And I finished and I went and I said, okay, you need to sign my transcript. I'm going to San Francisco State. He said, who are you? I never saw you. I said, you were supposed to be my counselor and watch what I do. And then she just looked at the grade and everything. She said, oh, I'm so sorry. I said, you should be. But next time, when other people come and ask you, they want to be somebody or something, don't tell them to change their mind. Don't. You have no right to do that. But by then, you know a little bit more. It's been 2.5 years. So I went and then I transferred to San Francisco State. And then when I went to San Francisco State, there were two, one from Palestine and one from Yemen, I think. No, 2 Palestinian, 1 Yemen, that they wanted to go to dental school. So, but with the Palestinian guy, we got really along because he was in my class. And then we said, okay, we studied together. And they knew a little bit more than I did. So it was a little bit good guidance because there was not even Eritreans where I was. There was not even a Black person in my class that you can lean over and say, okay, what is this one? But those 2 Palestinians and 1 Yemeni guy, they were really good because they needed my help too in class. So I got the information from them, and they got the class help from me. And then 3 of us, the Yemeni guy changed his mind, and then the 2 Palestinians and I went and applied to CSF. And San Francisco got hit by the most severe earthquake. I haven't even graduated from state. I had a nerve to apply because I don't want to lose a year. So by the time they accept me, I'm going to get my bachelor's. I mean, I was so into putting the time together, not paying attention to what people say or what you do. And the earthquake hit so bad, everything stopped. And my interview was a week after that to dental school. I was crushed. And I said, and I called both of them, and then they said, no, ours is in 3 weeks. And then I said, okay, that's it. But amazingly, 2 days before the interview, they called. And then they said, the people that were supposed to come out of state, they all stopped. They were terrified because you see the bridge crumbled, the highways and this, and people dying, the fires, and many people don't want to come. even though we had over 10,000 applicants, nobody, I mean, of course they weed you out and then they choose who they wanted to interview. And then when she checked, I was not far from the school. My house was like 3 miles from the school. So they said that, do you want to get an interview? They don't want it to just, they wanted to keep their momentum. They don't want to just close. If I talk too much, you let me know. And I got my interview. And I went. And then she said, oh my God, I was so skinny. She thought I was so young. I said, no, I'm not. And then she said, okay, are you sure that's you? I said, yeah, it's me. And then, of course, I did my interview. It was an oral surgeon, came from surgery that he did, the people that got crushed at the highway. And he was exhausted. And then he just said, were you, first he asked me where I was from. And then I told him. And then he said, wow, our chief surgeon is Eritrean. I don't want to be related to him because I don't want people to say, I got to the school because of him. Because he has the highest power in the whole university. And he's well respected and he's the boss. And I just look at him, which I am, I love Dr. Debas, and then I know him. I know everything, but he doesn't know I'm applying. And then I said, no, I don't know him. He said, you should know him. You should meet him. Deep inside, I said, I know who he is. I know. And then I'm like, no, I'm not going to say nothing. He said, you should meet him. I said, okay, I will. Because I don't want anybody to say I made it because of him. I wanted to say I made it. So he said, why would I choose you? I said, why not? Why not? He gave me the look. He said, give me a reason. And I gave him all my reasons. Number one was I had never seen a dentist as a 13-year-old, 14. And then the issue what happened, and I wanted to be a dentist. And I came here as a refugee, not knowing where to go, what to head. And by the way, I came with no relatives. I depended on friends is when I came. And then it will be an honor for the school to accept me. He just said, what? Yeah, because I will be the first one here to make a difference in my community. And then I will be the first Eritrean to be a dentist here. There are Eritrean dentists and surgeons. And then I mentioned Dr. Leinesh, and then how impressed I am with her, and then her influence on me. And then I want to follow her footsteps. But I have to do it here in order to do that. And then he just gave me the look and he said, I feel embarrassed. I say, why? Because I'm so privileged. And then I had everything to get into this school. And the school, like you said, be honored to have you. And you're in. And he said, I will make sure you're in. Because you're going to be interviewed by 3 other people to get in. But I'm going to make sure you're in. But go check Dr. Debas. I said, okay. But I know, who Dr. Debas is. That's how I made it to UCSF. And there were hard times because the minute I made it to UCSF, my dad passed away. And my dad was my core beer. My dad was older for us, but he was the best dad anybody can have in that country. There is nothing, he always said, my girls will be the most successful ones. He will pamper you to be anything you want it to be. The support from my dad was amazing. The sunshine is coming, okay. And when I didn't have him around, it was, even though it was long distance, but he was always there. That hurt a lot. And my first year was really very hard and it was tough. But after that, I excel and then I succeed and I finished very early. And then I owned my own practice after a year.
Just before that, there's something I want to go back. I like how you said just takes a gut. And everybody knows that it takes a gut, but at the same time, from everybody's that comes newcomer, as you said, sometimes in a family, even though if there's a family, there's a language barrier. And then when you go to the counselors, as you said, they'll refer you or advise you to take something else away from what you wanted, saying that you have this weakness, which is the language or so on. So how did you pump yourself every time? It's not for that, not to get to you, how someone wakes up and every morning it says, I'm going to do this, but then you're human at the same time. You have, like you said, I'm sure there's other things that you have to worry about too, as well as living expenses and whatnot. And how did you keep that positive spirit to get to your goal?
It's not the first time that you see, those things. And the first time you come here, you have to work. So like I said, me and my friend Menges, when we took the test to take English as a second level, we passed it. And then they said, you cannot have help. You have to go get a job. So we really were starving to get a job. And then I got a job at the airport. And I was selling ice cream. And when I was there is when I faced all that. And Marriott Hotel just opened, new. So they were hiring. And then of course I lie. I said, I know how to do register, which I had never worked in my life. And then I got the job because it was adding, subtracting. It wasn't a big deal. So when I got there, I didn't know how to steal, but they all did. So every month, like there is employee of the quarter, but Marriott wanted us to work so hard. Every 2 months, there is employee of the month. You get $100 or you get a certificate of what. I kept getting that because I'm not making a mistake. So they hated me for that. But for me, it is just working. So their register gets short. They get written up, this and that. I don't have none of that because I don't know nothing. I only know how to work. And so one of the employees comes and she really hated me. And she said, listen, Lula, are you nigger or black? I gave her the look. And then there is the bus boy, almost had a heart attack. So I'm going to get up and we're going to create a fight. So I'm just looking at her and I say, neither. Because you don't know, when you don't know, nothing phases you. You are black, you're going to be singled out. It's not there. You came from a free country. Everybody the same, except rich, poor. Besides that, your color, your looks never matter. So I just told her neither. So he runs and goes to the main cafeteria and tells the boss, because he thought we're going to fight. So the bosses are coming, the management, everybody coming running. I already finished my break, and then I went to do my work. And then he said, Lula, what happened today? I said, what do you mean what happened today? Nothing happened. We heard that somebody, said something. Oh yeah, Melissa said if I was black or nigger. The boss himself is black. He went crazy. And then he said, then what did he tell her? I said, neither. And I continue working. And he just looked at me and said, she is free. I wish I had this little of her. I wish I had this 3 times. I wish I had this little of you on me. You did not care, did you? I said, no. So Lula, where are you from? I'm from Africa, Eritrea. Very proud. There was no Eritrea at that time. And then he said, where is Eritrea? I never said anything like, oh, we're Ethiopia. No, it is above Ethiopia to Sudan, above Egypt, Red Sea. That's what Eritrea is. I want him to identify that who I am. And so those things makes you strong. So when you go later on, then he sat me down and then tried to explain what she was trying to do. Of course, she got fired immediately that minute. And then they said, if you wanted to seek a lawyer to sue or whatever, I'm looking at him like, I don't even know what a lawyer is. I don't even know what a suing is. I just look at him and said, you know what? I don't really care. Let me just work, and I have to go to school tomorrow morning, and then I have to just go home. He said, okay, that's it. So those things they do later on later on, when I start to get, ice cream, they shut the freezer. They almost wanted to kill me inside, but it didn't happen. I put my hand, and I had an accident in my hand. I went through a lot, but those things give your character. It builds up your character. Even my own Eritrean community, there was a guy that lives around our area on the street. And then he said, where are you going with a backpack? I say, one day, if God says, but later on, of course, when I graduated, became a doctor, he came and he apologized. He said, I didn't know you were that good. It's still offending, but hey, that's okay. So those things do build up your character, and you become stronger if you choose to. So, and then there are a lot of obstacles when you get into dental school. It is male dominated, white people. I remember once that in second year, we have waxing, things like that. And then I got like a teaching and helping students award. And then I wasn't good at the first year. But when I got to second year, and then after that, it sunk in, and then I got it. Because like I said, I never even seen a dentist until I got to United States. And until today, I don't have any. I have one cavity that Italian guy fixed. That's it. That's all I have. And he said, you know what, Lula? His name was Dr. Davis. And I said, yes, Dr. Davis. You can become a very successful dentist. I said, I thought I am becoming a successful dentist. What do you mean? If you take classes to kind of fix your accent, you can go anywhere. I say, really? So I turned around and called him names in Tigrinya. And I say, Dr. Davis, did you know what I say? He said, no, dear. I say, exactly. That's what me and you are different. I can speak your language. I can understand your culture. You can't say a dumb thing about me without me knowing. But I say plenty of things you don't even know. My language, my accent, my looks are my pride. This is who I am. You take me the way I am, you don't, you lose. And by the way, I will be the most successful dentist in the area. Before all your guys here, they were all white guys sitting here. I will be the one who's going to be chosen from the school. I don't even have to apply. He said, oh, I don't mean to offend you. He said, no offense. And that's what I feel. That's what you said, and you got your answer. So that's how I was known. Oh, Lula say whatever she wants to say, but it was not. And then it was true. I was teaching because I finished so early. I was teaching emergency room. Is when I met somebody came to the school to visit the dean, and he saw me. He said, wow, I didn't know you guys have a dentist here. He said, actually, she's a student. She's graduating. And I got the job. I haven't even graduated yet and haven't passed the state board yet. And then I had a job. And once I got my license, I went and then I started working. So obstacles are there, but they really keep you strong. And then when you don't have anything to lay back, you have no choice but to go forward.
Amazing. You're absolutely right. I just have so much question. I could go on. I'm so
Yeah.
inspired. What I wanted to go back a little bit also was you mentioned Dr. Linus. Dr. Linus has done a phenomenal job even before the independence. And was she always your female role model, or did you have anyone else before? Could you tell us who were your female role models that
You
you?
know, it's not like bragging or anything like that, but in 1989, when I look around, I said, okay, everybody kept saying dentistry is difficult, difficult, difficult. And then I said, okay, so why don't you go to medical school? And then I said, okay, I'll go to medical school, but let me see. So I went to MEDA. And then also I wanted to see my sister too. So when I went to MEDA from United States, I went all the way to MEDA in July. And then when I got there, and then I told my sister, and I wanted to be a dentist. She was like, you're graduating. I say, yeah, but that's not what I'm going to stop. I'm going to continue. And then she said, wow, okay, what do you want it to be? And then my sister was in Hagara Umar Hazba Bota. It's a different Bota, but Lionish Cup oral times. So she said, there is a dentist, Abana. That what she does is amazing. I said, I want to see Dr. Lionish. I saw her on videos. And then she said, okay, you go. Then we went and then I met her and I stayed with her. So I saw what she does is miracle. So that night, the thing that makes you amazed about or humble about being an Eritrean, I told you earlier, being an Eritrean is that you're welcome anywhere you go, whether it's MEDA, whether it's back home, you are Eritrean. This is your home. This is you. This is for you. So she just said, okay, I have a jaw repair tonight. You coming? I was like, what? I don't want to see blood. But I kept it in. I went in with her. So everybody thought, and then there is another guy, another doctor who's doing, leg amputation just and that next to her. So I had never been into that situation before. Then they said, okay, I'm going to go work with her. And then my best friend happens to be there. Bayane, she was there. So she made Shahi this because she thought I'm going to pass out when I see all that blood. And I just look what she does. She takes bone from the hip, which we have bone grafters here. And then she made him a jaw. He had the tongue is hanging, all that. And I just look at her and I say, I just want to be a dentist. I don't want to do that. But I kept my cool and I did not move. I just stayed there, And she had her assistant named Leah, I remember. And all of them, I said, all of them women. Oh my God, I can do this. They're all women. He's doing his man thing over there, but because the face is the most difficult, small, no access, it's so narrow, and they were all women doing it. So I was like so happy to see that. And hey, I got cling to her. And then the whole 3 months that I stayed with her was the best 3 months in my life that gave me character, gave me strength, gave me ability to be who I am. And then I did. I get in touch with her every time. Even when I went to Eritrea, one time she was removing a cancer and I stayed with her. I love that lady. She's just, and then every time I talk in all my lectures, I talk about her with a limited environment. Basically, it was, people say underground. It was like, it's not underground per se. It's a huge mountain. And then inside the mountain is where, isn't a way, it's a cave, is where her surgical place was. And then after they finished the surgery, Some of them are in the floor, you know, and no infection. How does she do it? She's the most skilled person that I met in my life that influenced me a lot. I cannot do what she does, but I keep her always in the back of my mind, everything when I do things working. But I never met anybody like her before or after.
Definitely, when we talk about the Liberation Front for the independence, the amazing things that they've done, as if, like you said, when we talk about it, it's a fiction book for a lot of people, especially who are not Eritrean, for them to understand. And it's a priceless price that they've paid for our independence, and the women's contribution, like you said, like Dr. Linish and many others have done the unthinkable stuff. And that it's amazing to hear it also that you got to experience it. Very nice. And so those characters also were built from all the experiences you got. What about here? How did of course, the culture, you said, the Eritrean culture, your identity, it's what was your backbone. At the same time, within our community where you were living, how is it for you?
You know, as most people know, Bay Area, especially Oakland, very affectionate. People gravitated to each other in many, many ways, you know. And one strength that I see in my community, that at the time where I was going through school or work, was the support that I would get. We all are in the same environment, you know, financially. It's not going to be like we were talking earlier. People only see when somebody comes and support them financially, but that's not what takes you everywhere, because you can always borrow money and then you know, become successful. But what there was is the care and the amazement that, oh my God, you're gonna go to school? Come صوت قبري إخي ويزا قوالي or أمبسا زحفتي كم زخ عاد قبري حاسبكي بالي انتي بأنا خنتي خنقبر نخير بأنا خنتي له. I was, you know, there are so many people, but at the same time, there was, especially when you get to dental school, it is from sorry, it is mainly the mothers that are really pay attention to the kids, who's going where. And then one of them is in San Francisco. Her name is Andreas. She had many children. And then so we kind of got, you know, when I came at the beginning, I would go to all the Eritrean communities because I volunteered in this Catholic charity. It's not even a charity, a Catholic church. And then she will tell me, should we take these things to your community? And then we will fill up boxes. And then I know where all of them are. They just came from Sudan. So I will go and deliver with her. So I met this lady when we were doing that. Her name is Sister Catherine. And then she will fill up ham. This I said, no, we don't eat this. What do you guys eat? We don't eat canned food. So the only canned food was, until today, she's so much into Eritrean community. She always makes a fun of it. Tuna and tomato sauce is the canned food we eat. That's it. The rest has to be fresh food or pasta, this and that. And then she used to say, you guys are not refugee. You guys selectively refugee. You know? So, so I met this lady, we just clicked. She was so kind. And until today, she's my mom, my sister. And then she will bring me food all the way to dental school. She'll give her kids. So what good things can you expect out of that? You know? And then that's the best thing people can do for you. And they're there for you. And then now when you go see them, it's everybody knows Dr. Lula, the kids, the adults, because you stayed with them, because they're still around. And then the encouragement that I get from them. When you go to, once in a blue moon, I will go to bedside, whatever, you are so welcomed, because you were always welcome when you were young. And then it's still welcome. I hope I answered your question.
Have you seen, not that you've seen that during all the process for you to go to dental school until you finish, all the mothers, everyone in the community, how supportive and contributed to your success. I know I've heard things that you do give back to our community. I know Eritreans don't really like to talk about the things that they do, but I think it's important to mention it. Your connection to the community and using your services, how you're helping out at the community. Can you just tell us just a little bit about that?
Excellent. Eritreans don't like to brag about community giving back, but many of us do. Many of us do in a way that is sustainable for us to live. And the number one thing that I like to do is go whenever anybody calls from our communities to be there. Whether I used to go to UC Berkeley, and then we used to have a panel that would bring all people from Africa or people from Eritrea, and then we would talk to them how they can apply to school. That's where I met many young Eritrean kids, which, it helps a lot to talk to show that I did it, so you guys can do it. And then, but above all is that when I start practicing is when people come to your office. They will find you, they will come to your office. And you cannot do everything free. But me and my staff, they know there are 3 things that we do. There's a deed for the day, deed for the day, deed for the month, and deed for the year. From what you earn to give away to a person you don't know. So most of the time, they come from different world, but we have Eritreans too. So for that day, in that, that week, there's 1% is gonna get something for free. You sharing. And then if Eritreans will come, and then is it a filling? Is it extraction? Is it what have you? You do it for free, okay? And then once a month also there is one. But there is one a year that I do, is that I choose out of my patients or from the community that I see, okay, that person that I saw, whether at the church or what, they had no teeth or what have you. So I call them and then I do the work for free. So that is a deed that I chose to give. That's not part of a community service. Even though the service I give it, 90% can be Eritrean, but that's for me to share what I have. But what I do for my communities, besides going, giving lectures, when the young ask me to talk, I will go talk, I will share my knowledge. But what I do is that when they come to my office and say, Dr. Lula, I don't have anything. I say, can I give you what? After I finish working, I get 25% is my income. The 75% is running the whole office, your staff, how workers come, insurance, this and that, all that. You cover everybody. So what I tell them is that you do pay, but I give you what my share is. My share is 25%. So I leave that share, so I don't get paid. But everything has to run, it gets paid. There are some really, really completely out, but there is severe pain. It will be extraction. Extraction doesn't cost much for me because it doesn't take material. those things is when you do them for free. Okay, so there is give and take, and there are many. To tell you the truth, if all Eritreans in the area that where we are would come to be our patients, we don't even need to serve any other race, because many Eritreans have insurance that they don't even know or use completely. So with that, you be strong to serve your community who have no insurance, but you have to survive. So you do those things for the community. It may not be big, but you do.
I think the main message is that once you've climbed that success ladder, it's very important to stay connected to your true identity, your community, to give back. And that's exactly the message that I've got from you. And
Thank you. I have one thing also that I will tell you to add into that. One thing also that I do, like we were mentioning earlier, and then what I wanted to many Eritreans to also know and benefit is that if you study dentistry somewhere else, like the young lady I was mentioning earlier, she was taught in, she was born and raised in Riyadh, but taught in Jordan. So dentistry here is completely different. It's medicine. We go with medicine, everything is the same. You come here, you have to take a test. You have to basically start from scratch, but you need training, you need exposure. What we do is completely different than the world. And they come into the office. They're more than welcome to come to the office. They get exposure, they get firsthand, and then they can learn. So that's what I do. And then many of them, out of all, she is the only one, she's still stick into dentistry, and she's looking, she passed everything, she's looking to get into a school. But don't give up because it's difficult. It wasn't easy for us either. It wasn't.
of course,
So I really wanted the young to know, you chose to be a dentist, yeah, come and see it first. I did all the way to Meda, and I saw it firsthand what dentistry is. You don't have to go all there. I'm right here. You can come and join and see it.
Yes, seeing is believing, definitely.
Yeah.
And as a woman, as a Eritrean woman, there is a accomplishment that you personally have accomplished that we hear about. Can you tell us shortly what was that? Enlighten us.
As a woman of color, now we know, even though as Eritreans, we never saw it, our color will one day will come against us. We never did. And I always never seen myself a successful person or this and that. But now you do see it. Oh, I did accomplish what I wanted to accomplish. I wanted to be a dentist, and then I did. But there is more to it. You can become a dentist. I practiced in Auckland for years, and it was a rental property. Then we were success, everything going smooth, and the building gets sold. That's when it hit you hard. It is 2008, where the worst crisis of economic in the United States. You were a Black female dentist. There's not that many places you can go because you were a solo provider, meaning that you were working for yourself. What do you do? And I happened to have a baby at that time. So it's everything stacked against me, And then I said, you know what? If I'm gonna say I'm a very successful person, if I'm gonna say I'm strong, if I'm gonna say I'm an Eritrean, I have the courage and the strength to do, this is the time I have to show myself. I went out, I bought a unit, I built my practice from scratch the way I wanted. And now I consider myself successful because I did it against everything. The economy is horrible. People are losing their jobs. I'm getting kicked out of the building that I've been there for almost 15 years. And then I started from scratch again. And that's when I said, now I will consider myself successful, because my practice, you probably Googled it, you probably saw it, is the way I want it to be. I have 6 chairs, I run around, and I think, yeah, now I can feel like I did something. I will say I accomplished something. Yeah.
Yes, it's amazing. It's phenomenal. And the advices that you could give us for women of color, Eritrean, young people in general, from all these experiences that you could give us, what would it be?
Wow, that's very humbling to say. And what I just talked today probably be like a spoonful of experience, you know. There were so many hardships, there's so many ups and downs that I went through to get where I am. And I don't hide about it. And when the kids come to talk to me, I tell them, you know, there were sometimes you feel like you failed, you want to quit, you don't want to do it, you don't want to even get up from bed. But all that is what brings you up. It gives you strength. So, number one, our kids today that are born and raised here don't have what I had. What is that? Coming from a different culture, from a very strong culture, a strong background, saying that you're an Eritrean, that's like a pride. And nobody even say, you're a Black person, your color is this and that. So that is embedded on you. It doesn't really crush you right away. Our kids don't have that now. I will make you laugh. My son goes into the school that next door is Chinese Christian school. So he just goes there. And then one of the kids came in and said, hey, are you Black? And then he had no idea until that day. And then he comes to the house and then said, Mommy, I didn't know I was Black. I said, oh, who got you today? And then, so I had to sit down and then teach him about who he is. He was only 6 years old. You see how this society is full of all that. We grew up what? Free. So that's what number one thing that I tell the young when they ask me, you know how we do this today? Your color doesn't mean anything, you know, when you go to back, but it means something here. So what do? You shine. You show them how beautiful you are. You show them how strong you are. You show them how confident you are by the work you do. The ability you have to fix things, to learn to how smart you are. All that will fade away because they need you. If you are so smart, it's not because you are Black, they don't want to take it, because they want you. And then they will use you, and you get paid for that. So do not just say, because I am, you know, this color, that, or this. No, show them the work. Show them the work. That's what I believe. And then as a woman, we have many other obstacles that, especially one time I was asked, how do I will compare Eritrea versus United States in regards of women? What we're doing today is Women's Month, right? The world recognized Women's Month, what, 10 years ago? I never heard about it before. As an Eritrean is new Women's Day, as I remember. You know? So I say that because the media would portray Eritrea as not a good country, this and that, not knowing who Eritrea is. A woman in Eritrea would receive the same payment, the same salary as the man is working exactly the same job with her. If the man is a typist, a woman is a typist, they both will get paid the same. We don't do that here. We get that 80 cents in a dollar to 75 cents in a dollar. So we have to break that. I get paid what worth I am. Because I need the job. Okay, I'll settle for that. You don't settle for that. You move on. You know who you are. You know what you can do. Because if I could go back home and then I get paid, I'm a dentist, he's a dentist, we get paid the same, why can't I be here? So those things that we need to work on. And sometimes as a woman, even our own community will say, well, you know, she's getting old, you need to do this, you need to do that. What is your heart saying? You do that. And then you become successful. But if you try to blend in, if you try to make somebody happy, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. You have to do what your heart said. And then one time, I think I went to a lecture and then I said something that somebody got offended. I said, don't go to school and study African history. Don't go to school, study geography, because that doesn't bring money. Okay, this is at the beginning when I say that. But if that's what you think is worth it, and then go ahead. Because now I know what I do and I know what people do and how they become successful. And like my son said, Mommy, you build your empire. He called my office an empire. So sad, I cannot be a dentist. You know, I said, what? He said, yeah. So I said, what do you want to do? I said, computer programmer or computer engineer. I said, okay, let it be. So those are the things that we really need to learn in our community. And then every family, everybody has to support their girls. I had the most support, the most encouragement that I got was my dad. There was nothing that I cannot do. I played soccer, I played basketball in Eritrea. I played volleyball, went to school, I wear pants as soon as I remember, I never wore clothes. So it means a lot when you support your own girls, your own daughters, and tell them that you can do whatever you wanted to do. That is a lot as an Eritrean.
Amazing closure. Thank you very much. On behalf of the EriXpress viewers, I would like to thank you for taking time off again and sharing this beautiful experience. And nice to meet you. And thank you very much.
I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, EriXpress, for staying with us. Here we had Dr. Lula sharing her phenomenal, exceptional success. And until we meet you next program, thank you.
Right.